I'm just Nick, and this is the Black Cat Beebaa. So what this beautiful blue pedal is Black Cat's take on the fabled Roland pedal called the Beebaa. It's a dual mode fuzz. It has two different fuzz sounds, and it also has a clean boost that you can toggle instead of the fuzz. So you can't have the boost and the fuzz on at the same time. And I shouldn't say clean boost because really it's kind of a colored boost. It's not adding distortion, but it definitely adds some mid-range. But the main attraction to this pedal is the very distinctive fuzz sounds that it offers. And what you just heard was the B side of the fuzz, which is a very cutting and present fuzz. And it's particularly useful for the way it cuts through a live or a recorded mix. And it preserves enough of the attack transient that you can use it for some percussive parts and even full chords. So even a minor 7 or minor 9 chord still kind of has the necessary string separation to sound like what it's supposed to, and that allows you to do some kind of percussive stuff even with a fairly high gain setting and have the stuff sort of sound halfway decent. So, and that's it, a pretty high gain, pretty high what they call sustain setting, with a whole lot of sustain to it. So if you backed down on the sustain setting, you'd get even more definition and string separation. If you roll off your volume control, it will clean up a little bit, not as much as something like a fuzz face, but if we go down to about half on the volume, you do get more attack and more clarity and even a little bit of clean tone in there. Come up and just roll it back just a little bit. Here's the full up. Back just a little bit, you get a little bit more of a scooped sound, and again, more of the attack, which is nice for rhythm parts. Roll it back up for the lead, and back down for the rhythm parts. Works well. It works well as a live pedal where you want to get a range of sounds with your volume control. Now, if we go over to the buzz side of the pedal, we get a more mid-rangey kind of corpulent fuzz with it still has that kind of sort of upper mid-range resonance to it, but it's filled out with a lot more lower mid-range now for some just spectacular, if I may say so, lead tones. And we're not playing at high volumes here. And just the same, we get a really nice decay, and even with a little bit of my bridge pickup, I bet I can even get a little bit of feedback at this point. Well, maybe not. Come up just a little bit more. going to sit here all day and watch me try to get feedback at low volumes, but it will do it. It was doing it before, I swear. But nevertheless, it's a very compelling lead tone that again is quite thick but still kind of defined, especially on the bottom, and sits just beautifully in a mix. It doesn't have a whole lot of low-end thump, but quite frankly, how often does that do anything other than muddy up your live or recorded mix when it's coming off a guitar, assuming there's a bass in your band? So I think it's a really usable and very distinctive sounding fuzz on both sides. The boost mode, you toggle between fuzz and boost with this switch right here. This is your bypass switch. And when you hit this switch, the LED goes green, and now you know you're in boost mode. And you can set the amount of the boost with this knob here. I'm going to show you the clean sound first. So we're in bypass now. And here's the clean sound. It's this Nash Telly into a car Rambler. And here we are with the boost at 12 o'clock. Definitely colored. Here we are again in bypass. And here we are with the boost. More mid-range almost makes these single coils, which are fairly low output, sound like humbuckers. And it's a particularly useful type of boost to drive a fairly bright amp, like a blackface style amp. Hit the front end of it sometimes with a purely uncolored clean boost, and sometimes your overdriven sounds are going to be a little bit toppy and not as sustaining as you might want, because you know, it's kind of breaking up on the top end more than it is in the middle. If you hit it with this clean boost, you're definitely going to be pushing the front end of the amp with a lot more mid-range content, and you're going to get a kind of fatter breakup sound. So with a bright amp, I think it would be really awesome, especially with single coils when you want more of a kind of humbuckery lead sound. Probably would stack great with other pedals. In fact, I don't know why I said probably, because in fact, and it's been a couple weeks, but I did actually use this on a couple gigs, and I did stack it with an Emerisa Fratsits, and it really did sound fantastic. The boost worked really, really well for very, very fat single note stuff in particular, but chording as well. So, very cool pedal. Get a hold of the folks at Rock and Roll Vintage, who are super cool and super nice, and they will take care of you. Until next time.